Hey everybody, Diane Brandon Moody here again for another episode of 50 Something Love. So today's topic is pretty elementary as far as I'm concerned, but I've had questions come in on Instagram and places like that about this particular topic, and that's green flags, red flags, yellow flags, and which are the ones that you need to pay attention to earlier rather than later. So I jotted down some notes, and I'm going to, uh, share some of that with you. I have to say that sometimes these are gray areas. And so, what I really think it's a good idea for you to do is to take a breath and not overreact in the moment. Even if it's the reddest of red flags, take a little bit of time and breathe deeply. And then, if you know how to do a nervous system exercise, that's a great way to do it because that's something that I'm teaching so much in Simply Irresistible these days is how nervous system exercises can really make you into a better, um, more creative thinker and have a better picture of the whole thing. If you are just automatically biting someone's head off, they may even deserve it, but this is not doing you any good at all. So, anyway, I am going to just keep on going with that. And before I do, though, I want you to make sure, and if you're interested in the next cohort of Simply Irresistible, that link is live on my website right now. You can sign up for it if you like. It's a priority list. It's not any kind of declaration. It's not a promise. You're not hemmed in, but it's just an idea of letting me know if you may be interested for the next round. So you can go to dianebrandonmoody.com. It's in the banner of my website and, just click on it and sign up. And there's no charge, no obligation after that. So, enough of that. Let's just get with the flags already. Come on, Diane, what are the flags? Okay, so here are some of the greenest of green flags that I absolutely love. One is, does he plan dates in advance? This is amazing, and it tends to be a long time forgotten skill set. So I'm going to tell you right now, gentlemen, if you want to really stand out among the women that you're asking out, this is how to do it. Ask her out in advance, a couple of days. It doesn't have to be forever. Ask her in what part of the neighborhood, the city, the neighborhood, or the area. Ask her in what area is she in. Ask her what kind of food she likes, if it's going to be dinner, or what's her favorite ice cream place, or, you know, where's your favorite wine hangout place. This is not to say that you have to do anything major or huge, but I know that my husband asked that for our first date, and I was just absolutely bowled over by it because it hadn't been done in a while. So you will stand out a lot. And ladies, if a guy does this, even if you are not in a if you're not in any way attracted to this person and it doesn't work out, he still gets major kudos for being the gentleman and asking you out and giving you some time. So, another thing, he doesn't bring up sex first thing. Men, don't do this. You just look like an animal when you do it. I don't care how long it's been since you've done it. To ask a woman that, on the phone before you meet her in person or on the first date, anytime before the third date is just tacky and rude. And it will, in 99% of the time, it will not go well for you. So don't do that. This is something that I encourage women to have the conversation on by around the third date. Doesn't mean you have to be doing it then, but you can easily have a conversation. It's good to have a conversation that says, the third date is a great time for me. Um, that would be awesome. Or maybe I'm somebody who's religious and I wait for a year or till marriage or whatever. Anything like that, it's a good conversation to have on the third date. Because if you don't, um, I mean, let's face it, he's going to want to do it sometime if he's with you, and not discussing it at all will just erode trust on both sides. Speaking of trust, if there is anything to take away from this, please understand that trust builds slowly. It just does. That's for the men and that's for the women. Trust takes a little while to build. That doesn't mean she comes into this distrusting you, men. She probably doesn't have a beef about you specifically, but there are men who are not trustworthy, and she doesn't know you separately from them. You could all be part of the same pile for all she knows. So trust will build slowly over time. This is not an insult. I have said this before, but there were a couple of times when I was dating. I never came out and said, I don't trust you or anything like that. I never indicated to a guy that I didn't trust him. But what I did say a couple of times, if he was wanting to come pick me up or something like that, and it was the first or second date, I would always have a reason why you couldn't do that. Like, I had a meeting going on, it'll be easier for me to meet you or whatever. For the guys who would get very mad and say, you don't trust me, the answer was, of course I don't. I don't know you at all. That doesn't mean I distrust you, but that doesn't mean I do trust you. So, guys, be reasonable in what you expect from trust. It will build slowly for both of you, actually. If a guy asks you questions about your life, this is also a good green flag. If he talks only about himself, that's a red flag. And so, ladies, what you can do in that moment is simply interrupt him and start talking yourself. But if it were me, I would be kind of less attracted if all he did was kind of give me a podcast about all of his achievements and didn't ask me anything about myself. I would be very bored by that. He may be the most impressive guy on the planet, but if that's all he can talk about, that's boring. So, guys, you know, ask her some questions. They don't have to be deep, they can be any questions. So, if a guy shows up on time or he communicates if he can't be on time, that's good. Most people are reasonable about it. He needs to treat service staff respectfully because rudeness in that area should set off alarm bells. If he has decided to take responsibility for his past, he doesn't have to tell you everything about it on the first date. But when he starts talking about his past or the marriage that broke up or the girlfriend that he doesn't have anymore, if he's going to talk about that, he needs to be mature enough to talk about his role in what happened. I would call it a big red flag if he just automatically starts talking about how awful she was and how she was 100% to blame because people, this is life and that doesn't happen. It's never 100% one person or the other. It just isn't. So I would consider that a huge red flag. Um, if he can disagree with you respectfully on whatever topic you're talking about, that's a good thing. Um, if he respects your boundaries without giving you the third degree, that's amazing. If I'm talking about sex here, which I guess I could be, if he's pushing you for that and you decline and he keeps pushing you for that, that's a big red flag to me. You should feel safe around him. And the relationship progresses at a comfortable pace. Here are some red flags here. Anger issues like road rage, yelling at waiters, if he's pushing that physical boundary and uh, nagging and trying to convince you about why you need to have sex immediately, if he's ignoring your comfort level or how safe you feel, get up and walk away right then. Just do it right then. Don't even apologize. Throw your share of the money on the table and leave. If he shows up at your place and invited, lock the door and don't ever see him again. Love bombing is a huge red flag, but it feels really good in the moment, especially if you have not had a date lately. If you haven't had a date lately, you may feel really good when you start getting, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, I like you so much. Oh, we're going to go to Jamaica in a month. And oh, I can't wait to introduce you to my mother. And by the way, here's a handbag designer handbag that I saw and I thought of you. And too many expensive gifts, too many gifts of any kind, too much future talk. That's immature at the very least. It's controlling at the worst. Anything like that is too much. It's love bombing and you don't want it. That's not good for you. If the situation is he's meeting you for the first time and he tells you you're very pretty, that's a nice compliment. And it can end right there. You don't have to pile it on. Piling it on does not make it better. It actually makes it worse. If he's caught in lies, then no. If he doesn't have photos on his profile showing his face, no, because he's probably married or has a record. He won't video chat. He could be a scammer. He could be in prison. He could be married. None of those are good reasons. If he can only meet during work hours, again, a sign he could be married. If he tries to make you feel guilty for having boundaries, if he gaslights you, if he's hot one minute and cold the next, please don't try to audition for him and make him like you. I don't care how cool you think he is. If he's giving you hot and cold behavior, please don't let him hook you like that. It's not good for you. Um, if his words and actions don't match, that's not good. One thing we're looking for is words and actions matching over time, consistently. And if they don't, nope, he's a big nope. If he asks for money under any circumstances, doesn't want, if he wants your financial information, please do not share that. If he suggests joint accounts or early purchases, or he can't verify his employment, no. That isn't to say that men who have less money don't deserve love. They most certainly do. But they don't need to be getting love from your bank account. That's not the way that works. You want somebody who's a grown up, who has a job. He may be making less than you do. He may be making less than you prefer. Hopefully, he's got a plan for something better eventually that he's going to be able to grow financially. But no, you don't need to be as a mama. So when you've got a red flag, that means end it immediately. Don't You don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it. Block if you need to and tell a friend for accountability. Don't don't try to make them change. That's not your job at the stage of dating. It's not at all your job. It's never your job, but it's really not your job in the beginning. Now, here are a few yellow flags, and these mean just slow down and observe. So you might just need a little bit more information. Like you don't need to make a decision right then. If he only texts, often sporadically avoids phone calls, personally, I wouldn't put up with that. I would call that a red flag myself, but if you want a little more information, you can. It's not particularly dangerous. If he's vague about his daily life, unless he's a spy, it probably means he's married. So, I wouldn't really want to do that. But if you want to give it a little bit more space before you know, then that's fine. But don't get hooked in before you have information. I personally don't think it's a good idea for people who have recently separated, like less than a year. You're still working out complicated feelings and probably complicated arrangements like financial arrangements, living arrangements, the kids, whatever. So, I don't think that's a good idea, men or women, to be doing that until they're done and dusted with the divorce. If he talks about his ex frequently and bitterly, whether he's telling the truth or not, it really doesn't matter. If he's having this conversation over and over again, he's just not ready. He's not ready. And you need to just say, call me when you're ready. If you feel like that. And if you want to move on, that's fine. If he has adult children or brothers and sisters who don't speak to him, that could be a red flag. And it might be just a yellow flag. Like maybe there's a really good reason for that. I don't know what it is. If he's only available at weird hours, never ever invites you to his place, and I mean, after you're a couple, then I think that would be something of a yellow flag, if not a red one. And if he's always talking about money, like too much or too little, expects you to pay half from date one, personally, I think that as grown-ups, we can decide that. We can have a conversation about that. With the economy today, maybe it's not working out that he pays for everything on a first date. That's a yellow flag. For me, um, I really appreciated it if a guy paid for it. And if he didn't, it probably didn't have anything to do with my respect for him, but it definitely had something to do with my attraction to him. I know there was somebody who didn't warn me ahead of time and then said, during the date, well, we're splitting this and here's my part. And I didn't know, I wasn't necessarily prepared and didn't really have much attraction for him ever since. We still know each other, still talk occasionally, but there was no attraction there. So, if he's flashes his money a lot. That's also an area where it may be insecurity on his part. And in fact, it probably is that he's trying to show off a little bit. But to me, that would be just kind of weird. I would not be all that interested. So, anyway, those are some red, green, and yellow, which you can decide yourself which one that you want to do. So, once again, if you would like to sign up for the priority list, you'll be the first ones to hear about Simply Irresistible when that is announced next, which will be one of these days. I don't have a date yet, but it won't be too far away. I would love to have you on that. No obligation at all. So, I hope you're enjoying your summer and let's have some great dates. Why don't we? Thank you very much. I hope to talk to you again before long.